on the 12 Days of Soapmas 2021. Today I'm going to be making 3 mini batches of soap. All of them are going to have soap frosting on top, and all of them are going to be made with real Christmas drinks. I'm going to take the actual liquid and put it into the soap. I went and got eggnog, I went and got apple cider, we mixed up some hot cocoa. All of it is going into the soap batches today, and so without further ado, let's make some soap. Let's do the apple cider soap first. So I have in this little container my apple cider. I'm gonna go ahead and add that to my melted oils. It already smells so good. And then I'm going to add a little bit of poppycock mica. This is from Mad Micas. It's this beautiful copper color that I would say is perfect for an apple cider soap. Then I'm going to add in mulled cider. This is from Nature's Garden, another whiff. Let's go ahead and take a smell. Oh, perfect. Add that in. That smell is amazing. Then I'm going to blend it up just a little bit. Get everything incorporated and all of that mica mixed in. All right, and now that everything not caustic has been mixed in, it's time to add our lye water solution. And this is a 50-50 solution, meaning it is 50% sodium hydroxide and 50% water, because of course I added in the extra liquid of apple cider. Go ahead and blend this up until it's fully emulsified into a light/medium trace. All right, this looks so smooth and delicious. It looks like apple butter, and it's already warming up / thickening up. So we're just gonna pour it real quick into our mold. Okay, apple cider soap base done. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, next soap, I'm gonna add my hot chocolate fragrance oil. Then I'm going to add my hot chocolate. So this is made with just like a regular old hot chocolate mix you can get from the grocery store and some milk. So lots of sugar. Some is actually sunk to the bottom. I should probably mix this up. Yes, that's looking a little more hot chocolatey. Get all of that in there. Smells amazing. I'm also going to add a little bit of this dashing stranger on a train in case there are some parents out there with little bitty kids watching with me today. Just a little bit to help the discoloration. All right, we'll go ahead and mix this up real quick. All right, add in my 50-50 solution here and blend it on up. Let's go ahead and pour this in the mold. Oh, so nice and smooth. With the hot cocoa done, we only have one more soap base left. Time for the eggnog soap. Now let me tell you something. Eggnog by Nature's Garden was among the first fragrance oils I ever used for a Christmas collection. So the very first year I was in business, which was 2011, this was the first fragrance I used for my Christmas collection. There were only 4 fragrances, and they were little circle soaps, and I didn't do anything to them, and I know this fragrance oil discolors to almost a black. So I'm gonna help it along by adding a little bit more of that stranger on a train color. Let's get a whiff of this. It smells so good, and it's such an accurate fragrance. Now, admittedly, I have only smelled another eggnog fragrance, I think from like one other company, but I think that this is such a dead-on duplication of that smell. I just love it. I also have my eggnog here, which of course smells really good as well. Is eggnog something y'all actually like? Like, that's the question of the day. Is eggnog a fragrance you like? You don't have to like the taste of it. I personally like the flavor of it. Like, my mom made an eggnog overnight French toast one time, and it was so good. But like, I won't drink straight eggnog. It has such a weird texture to me, but the fragrance and the taste, oh, so good. Let's go ahead and give this a quick mix before we add our lye water solution. And I do feel that because of the high fat content and sugar content in eggnog, it's actually going to add quite a lot to this soap. I feel like this soap is going to be really bubbly and really creamy. Go ahead and add my 50-50 solution here. So for my recipe, I ended up adding about like 4.4 ounces of Christmas drink, and then the rest of it is a 50-50 solution. So it feels like, oh, there's not actually that much of the drink in there, but there kind of is because it's only 32 ounces of oils. Just gonna start by mixing everything in just like this with my stick blender, and now blending for real on low. I know this is about to get thick on me, so I'm gonna quick pour this into the mold, and let me tell you, the smell after it's been blended is even more incredible. I'm obsessed. Awesome, last soap base done, so now we can move along to the soap frosting. Okay, so using the Royalty Soaps Soap Frosting Club Kit, I'm going to pipe the top of my apple cider bars. So I went with a really, really dark green color. I've just been obsessed with this dark, kind of yellow toned green. I just figured out how to make it the way that I want to make it. Honestly, kind of inspired by cookie decorating. I forgot with these molds that there's actually 10 bars. So normally, whenever I use the Brambleberry molds, I pipe on the line, like that's the bar, but for these molds, I have to pipe in between them, and it always messes me up. Always. I always forget. Anyway, I've just been obsessed with this green, and I thought it would be a nice sort of holiday accent for the outside of this particular soap bar. Just thought it kind of married up with that tan color very well. All right, and we have a little bit of frosting left. So I'm just gonna wiggle that in the middle here, kind of spread out the rest of the frosting, get it a little more flat on the top. And now that I have the nice frosting on top, I'm going to add some glitter. So I think this is going to be the perfect color for the apple cider and to kind of match the top. It's called Fall Vibes by The Good Glitter, and I am an affiliate, so you can get 15% off your first order when you use the code ROYALTY. Well, I am just going to sprinkle this all over the top. Trust me, it's gonna match the embeds perfectly. And because of the tip that I used, all of the glitter is getting into all the little cracks in the frosting, so it'll be super pretty even when the bar is cut. I'm gonna turn this around to make sure that this side is getting just as much love as the other side. Okay, and now that all of that glitter is on, we can add the embeds. I have some little apple embeds left over from a different apple-y soap that we made this year. So I'm just gonna add these on. Just place them in one at a time very carefully. Every single apple being a little bit different, of course. And last one. Let's give this a quick spritz with rubbing alcohol. And that is it for the holiday cider soap. And finally, we're gonna do the eggnog soap. So I'm going to use the 𝐷𝐸𝐸𝐸 806 tip for this. And I'm just gonna pipe on a slight angle here, really making sure that the piping tip kind of fills out the space and that it looks nice and puffy. I really wanted to give this sort of like a figgy pudding type look. I'm gonna turn it around here, fill it in on this side. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want these dollops to be really big and fluffy. And then for the sake of having everything in the middle completely filled in, I'm actually just gonna kind of snake this down. I'm not making like perfect little dollops because I'm trying to eliminate as many holes as I can. All right, gonna go again with just another little dollop here, kind of making it a little bit smaller this time and going in any cracks that I see. Never mind those little coffee beans there on the end. All right, and now we're just gonna put a little dollop on the top, kind of like this. I don't want any sharp edges or anything. And then using some pink peppercorns from Soma Sundries, I'm just gonna add like 3 onto each one to kind of mimic holly berries. And I'm gonna have to be pretty careful because I'm historically so bad at this. Yeah, all right. No, get up there closer to everyone else. Okay, so I saved just a teeny tiny bit of that green that I used for the cider soap. So now I'm just gonna add a few little holly berry leaves just like this. And I think this is just going to like complete the look of this soap. Man, would I love to see this in our holiday lineup next year. It's so pretty. Right, the eggnog soap is done and I'm obsessed. All right, let's get us some hot cocoa soap done. So again, we're using the Royalty Soaps frosting kit. And of course, this kit can be found on my website. Not right now because the website is closed for the year. But when we reopen in January, it'll be there. We have sold thousands of these kits, you guys. They're super popular and I'm so happy they have been able to help so many people with their soap frosting journey. You get my recipe, you get all of my favorite tools, all the tips that I use in the video, and we do not outsource this. We make all of these kits at my parents' house. We make kind of a girls' night and catch up with everyone, and we just make tons and tons of kits, and it's definitely super time intensive and a labor of love, but we want them packed the way we want them packed. We're able to get the best price by going directly to the manufacturer, so even if you bought all of those individual items, if you're in the United States, it's actually going to be less expensive to buy the kit from me than it would be to buy all of those items individually by a lot. Like, we really wanted to make sure that you guys were getting a good deal, which is why, of course, I've talked about this before, I will not be selling a cold process soap kit. It is far cheaper for you guys to source those products from individual retailers, and I give you a free list on how to do that just because, again, it's not going to be the best deal for you guys, but the frosting kit actually is. So that's what the Royal Creative Academy is for, because I just knew good and well I was never going to be able to save y'all as much money as you buying supplies from, you know, Walmart and your local retailer. Now that I have all that delicious looking frosting on top, I'm going to add some cold processed soap marshmallows. I made this with a little bit of extra frosting that I had left over. If you bought the original Royalty Soaps piping kit, I actually had a tutorial where I taught you guys how to make these just in time for all of your holiday soaps. Now that all the soap marshmallows are in, I'm going to add some fancy sprinkles. This is their pink peppermint blend, and when it comes to using regular sprinkles on your soap, I recommend using the highest quality sprinkles you can afford because these won't bleed on your soaps. You don't want sprinkles that get all mushy and nasty after they've been sitting on your bars. So this is the one that I prefer. And I've had tons of people ask me like, well, do they disintegrate or what do you do with a soap bar that has sprinkles on it? And honestly, all you do is dust them off before you use the soap. They're really just there for presentation and appearances. And because soap should not be ever put into any sensitive areas of your body, if you're okay with a sprinkle touching your hand or a sprinkle touching your arm like this, then having a sprinkle on your soap shouldn't be a big deal. And for those who choose not to dust them away, they will come off of your bar with the first wash, so they won't even stay on that long. That looks awesome. I'm going to add a little dollop of frosting on top just to complete the look, just for funsies. Yes, this really does make it look like the final touch on a holiday beverage. And there you go. Our hot chocolate soap made with real hot chocolate is done. Well, I am so pleased with our little drinky soaps. I cannot wait to cut them. We will be back in 18 to 24 hours. We'll get out the soap cutter and we'll take a peek at the inside after this quick commercial break. Let's start by cutting, actually, let's not, because this has glitter all over it. Let's start by cutting the least messy one, which is, of course, the one with no glitter on it. I'm gonna turn this on the side just to make sure that I don't bump or knock anything. I'm gonna line it up so that I don't cut any of those little berries. Is that about right? All right. And press down gently. Ugh, it smells amazing the next day. Pull one out from the middle. And here's our marshmallowy, delicious looking eggnog soap. Now I know it's kind of plain, but I feel like there's beauty and simplicity on this bar, okay? The smell is incredible. And honestly, I think adding actual eggnog to this kind of deepened, if I would, like kind of deepened the smell a little bit. So it doesn't smell as artificial. It smells really rich and delicious. I feel like normally I'd be pulling out different bars and being like, ooh, look at this swirl, ooh, look at that swirl. But once you've seen one of these, you've kind of seen them all. My mom is gonna love this. All right, we're gonna do the apple cider one next because the glitter is still less messy than sprinkles. Now this one really heated up. I'm not sure if that was the fragrance oil or if that was the sugar in the apple cider, but it got very warm yesterday. And this is what it looks like on the inside. Look at that green. I'm obsessed. And it does look like it definitely went through gel phase, which is why there's a ring around the soap and it's a little bit lighter at the top and on the edges of the bar. Let's give it an old snifferoo. Ugh, that smells so good. These are just so enhanced by actually adding the liquids to the batch. I know it's not just me telling myself that. Like, I've smelled these fragrances before. I know the strength, I know how they smell. I'm telling you, it's better because we added the actual liquid to the batches. And now for my favorite design, the hot cocoa. It smells good enough to eat, honestly. Go ahead and pull one from the middle, and there you go, the chocolatey inside. Now, once again, I've used this fragrance before, so I know this kind of like tan grayish color is actually gonna look a lot more like this by the end of it. But let's take a smell. I don't even have to lean in to smell. I can already smell it. Ugh! It's so good! It's rare that I feel so strongly about fragrances anymore. Like, I love them, they're amazing, and there's really good ones out there, but I've just smelled so many. But I'm telling you, with these three, there is a marked difference. There's a marked difference, and it's just downright delightful. And here they all are lined up, simpler designs, but incredibly complex and powerful fragrances enhanced by the actual Christmas drinks. Those were among the best designs I have done this year. Okay, listen, I know the eggnog soap is so simple, but I am living for it. I really, really, really want to bring that back next year as a frosted soap around the holiday season. If that's something you'd be interested in, let me know. I also really, really like the hot cocoa soap done with pink marshmallows, and that just whole look, that's a little different than what I've done with hot cocoa soap in the past. Y'all weigh in on these designs, because if you end up liking them more than the ones I've done in the past, I'll change them. I like to do things people like to see. Now be sure you do something fun for yourself, like baking some cookies or finishing up that last bit of Christmas shopping, just so you can mark it off your list and breathe a sigh of relief. I don't really care what you do, but thanks for tuning in today. Be sure you do something for you. That's the main point. And I will see you tomorrow for another installment of Soap Mist 2021. Bye for now.